You guys, mine is Josh. You might know me from the Harry Tornado YouTube channel, and I'm here doing a live stream tonight. Kind of excited, kind of got some butterflies in my stomach. We've got an exciting show lined up for you guys, and yeah, do you want?
Josh, this was supposed to be Patdees' show, not
Harry
Tornado's show.
Patdees. That's
Yeah.
right. We're on the wrong YouTube channel. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on our first guest, Patdees.
I was really wondering there for a minute. I was like, who's this interview with?
Yeah, Josh wants to take over everything, and you know what? Even if he's not watching tonight because he's too busy, because now I guess he's done with reselling. He's flipping houses.
He's just the king of the flip, I guess. I think Whatnot sent him an actual crown. He's over 5,000 items sold on there now. I mean, lots of accolades. But so he tried to take over your show too, though.
That's I actually talked to him a little bit earlier today and said hello, and so it's always in good fun. So I had asked him to do that when he was on last year with no notice, and he was like, okay. So
Haley's face in that clip is priceless. She's just one of the.
She was great, yeah, because sometimes, yeah.
She's a humble and genuine person, and she, like, especially when there's things that she gets excited about, just exudes joy.
And yeah, I just like the wholesome image. So, yeah. But let me real quick. Yeah, Rachel, you are on. It is January.
Yeah, it's still January.
And you were here last January, so you've basically lost your crown. No longer Miss Missouri. Now you're Miss January.
Can I have like a snowflake or something, if like on a headpiece, if I'm gonna be Miss January?
I wish I had like a button that you could hit that would do like the screen.
A little clip art there of me with the crown.
Or like throwing snow all over the screen. So let me say hi real quick to a couple people. Rosie's Closet. Hello, beautiful people. That's Crystal. I don't know if you know Crystal or not.
Yeah.
Melanie. Hello, Luis. Now I haven't done these lives in a while, so I won't have like you're usually about 20 minutes behind reading the messages.
I try to catch up. I try to be less than 10.
Sometimes I'll like say something. I'll be like sleeping. And I'm like, wow, it's like 2 hours in.
It's so hard because you just appreciate every single comment so much. You want to touch on everything.
And I have to tease you. So
yeah.
Colin's on the move. Hello. Sue, thank you for stopping. Jean Phillips.
That's my dad.
Oh, is that your dad? Oh, welcome, Dad. Dad, that's something that you're getting family to support you, because sometimes it's
my mom's in here too. I just saw her say hi too.
It's hard to get family and friends to even kind of acknowledge what we do sometimes.
Oh my gosh, my parents are the best. I could flip dog poop on the corner, and my parents would be there with pom-poms saying that I'm the best one that they've ever seen.
There you go. Well, this troublemaker.
Hey, Angie.
It was funny because I messaged you like 2 or 3 weeks ago on Instagram, and we were talking, and you're like, I wasn't ignoring you, and I was thinking about that tonight, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm just sensitive, because sometimes you get used to getting a response right away.
Yeah.
But Angie kind of just made me think about it now when I was watching the ladies, Rachel, Kristen, and Angie do. What do you call your lunch?
Let's do lunch.
Let's do lunch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'm like, Rachel, hello, Rachel, and you weren't, and I said something to you, and you were ignoring me, and I was like, what? Why is she doing that? And like, okay, she just doesn't have the chat pulled up, and then that's when someone said in the chat, oh, it's not live, and I just wasn't paying attention. I should have known better. So
Yeah, we premiere it. You're not the only person that has thought that was a live show. We premiere it live on Fridays. So like
are we live now, or is this pre-recorded?
we're live, guys.
Okay, we're live. So there's Angie again. Let me make sure I say Mom's Closet, Texas. Christy, hello. Thank you for
She
being
just got her first whatnot tonight and knocked it out of the park.
Oh, she did a whatnot?
Yeah, she had her first one today and she killed it.
Oh, cool. Is this Mom, Lisa here?
Yeah, that's my mom.
Hello, Mom. How are you? Are we going to Disney? Is usually what you say when you go on TV. You say, hello, Mom, and we're going to Disney.
What are you going to do next?
That's right. Leah, thank you for stopping by. Dad's there again.
Another Southeast Missouri reseller. She just told me about the most incredible estate sale I ever went to in my entire life. And I went to it and oh my gosh, you're not going to believe it.
You went to it?
Yes, because Leah told me about it and I didn't even know it was happening. I went on day 4 and it's the greatest sale I've ever been to. And I got a video coming out this week about it.
Okay. So you're not just doing lives, you are doing pre-recorded content.
Oh yeah. Most of my stuff. I only do lives once a week. Everything else is pre-recorded.
Is somebody playing table tennis in the background?
They're playing ping pong.
I thought I heard it.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you'd really be able to hear it.
But hey, isn't it something that I picked up on that sound and picked it up right away?
That is what the sound. You're fine. You're fine. My oldest son just got a ping pong table, and we cleared out a spot in the basement for him to be able to play. So he's really excited.
No. It sounds like you put the handle down. They could still play.
That's what I told him. I was like, yeah, I think you'll be fine.
He'll just be our sponsor for the hour.
Yeah.
Disney Nate's in here. Thank you for the whole Queen squad is here. Hold on. I'm April Davis. Hello. I'm watching. Sure did. Mama. Oh, Mama with a camera. Hello, Pat. Nice to see you live together. What is this? Hey, Pat. Super say exact. Actually, I was just watching before the show. Sometimes sometimes I'll nap, but I couldn't nap. I was a little wound up, and believe it or not, I get anxiety sometimes from doing these.
Really?
Yeah. I when I first started YouTube, I used to do a lot of them, and as time goes on, I just want to do everything right and ask and not just come back later and be like, oh, where did I screw up?
I'm sure it's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah. I was telling Rachel before the show when she was on last January, I was acting a little goofy before the show on the first one. And I was so conscientious of it that it was like about 30 seconds that 2 weeks later, I took that back out. So anybody that goes to watch it doesn't see that part. Yeah. Hey,
everything you do is always great. I love that you're just honest and sincere with everybody. And what you see is what you get. Like if you feel like being goofy, you be as goofy as you want to tonight. I will be too.
Okay. I want to show since Kristen's here, and I'm not sure if she's going to bed at 9:30. I'm not sure where she lives at.
She's in Colorado, so it's still pretty early for her.
She was playing Bins Bingo, and they were supposed to give her the belt. And
wow,
so I thought I would come on here and show.
That one's fancy.
Yeah, this is a wrestling belt that I bought about 25 years ago when they first came out.
I've never seen one like quite that fancy. My son had a couple toy ones, like 2009 probably, and they weren't anything like that.
Yeah, it's funny because I had this, and it just when I saw that they gave her like a little plastic. So maybe we have to work on something. We have to get her a custom belt or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Maybe with a squirrel cracking nuts or something like that. You know what I mean? So, hold on, it came in a bag, so I have to even.
Oh my gosh! Wow, yeah. I thought you just had a towel wrapped around it, but that thing was shiny forever.
I honestly, back in the day, this was a big purchase.
I feel like you should wear that to the bins one day.
Yeah.
Just because, why not?
I would just, if I had a bunch of guys that I could do that with, and we'd get thrown out, but I don't care. We'd flip ourselves into the bins.
I mean, did you see who was it? Flip the World that ran around in a dinosaur suit at the bins?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
He
Yeah.
has his whatnots from the bins. Like while he's pulling stuff out, he auctions it off right there. Yeah.
Goody. I'm gonna make sure I'm not missing anyone. I'm getting a little distracted sometimes. I don't want to be like. Now everybody should not give me a hard time tonight because, as we know, when Rachel goes live, and what day do you go live?
Thursday nights.
And, I mean, you always are 30 minutes behind on the chat
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, at least. Sometimes I'm a full 2 hours behind. I wait till the end of the show to start reading the messages.
Yeah, sometimes I start out, Rachel.
That's why you throw up super chats. You're like, she'll notice this.
Well, that's just to support you and to keep the lights on. I see that you're officially finally wearing some Patdees gear.
This is almost vintage Patdees, guys. If you Patdees, the traveling picker here, 2021. So I'm gonna hold on to it until 2041, at which time it will be available in my whatnot, because double stitch will be a thing by then. So
yeah, the story of that shirt. She was here Rachel was here last January 2022. In 2021, I had helped the Jeebus's family with their Christmas toy thing. And that was the shirt. So some of those shirts I had sold on my web, for $10 and used the money to give towards the toy campaign. So the squirrel lady likes the bling.
That squirrel.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't quite recognize her. What's this? $15 on the next lot. What's that mean?
I don't know. What are we selling?
I don't know. This is not an auction tonight.
Mark, what do you want to buy?
Yeah. KK says, don't be nice. Oh, let me put this up real quick. I'm a little bit of a rookie. If anyone's got any questions, ask them in the chat. Do you know that, Mark?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Just try not to meet a stranger.
Okay. So anybody's got
you know what's the best is when like you're interacting with somebody who's in like a service position and they wear a name tag and you just call them by their first name. Like it kind of catches them off guard every time. Like I think they're just not used to people addressing them that way. And just acting like you already know somebody. Sometimes it's a good icebreaker. Like if the name tag says Pat, why wouldn't I say, hey Pat, can you help me with da-da-da? Or when someone answers the phone and they're like, hey, it's Chuck E. Cheese, this is Rachel, can I help you? That, hey Rachel, this is da-da. It just kind of always like is an icebreaker to use people's first name.
Did you just answer one of my questions I might have tonight? Like what was one of your did you work at Chuck E. Cheese?
I've never worked at Chuck E. Cheese. That just
get out the photo album and
I've never worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I've only been there a handful of times. I've never worked there.
Okay. It was funny because when I used to have a restaurant one time, there was a guy paying, and he came up and I rung him up, and his name was like Harry or something like that, and I go, all right, Harry, I'll see you later. He turned around, looked at me. He goes, how do you know? He had paid with a credit card.
Yeah.
But I saw his license or something
right.
He took the cash out. I think that's what it was. And I saw his license and yeah, let me ask you something. Let's do lunch podcast. Who's in control?
I have no idea. Like, I still don't know. You would think of all people, I might know who runs the Let's Do Lunch podcast YouTube, and I don't. And Kristen says she is unsure, and Angie doesn't know. So it's kind of a debate in the reselling community. It's one of the hottest topics, other than. So
do you think that farmed out to someone in the Philippines?
I don't. Maybe like.
Have you seen a royalty check?
No, but I know Angie likes to get on Fiverr a lot, so I kind of feel like maybe she got on there and hired someone to do it.
Yeah. So that $3 that you probably should have earned in royalties for your episodes, they're holding back.
At least every week, $3 probably.
Yeah. We're gonna have to send an accountant in.
Angie used to be an accountant. You'd think we wouldn't have all this turmoil.
Yeah, but Angie can make it seem, and I hope I don't lose Angie here. Is she can make it that it's negative $3 so that you're not.
That's true. We just have to trust her numbers and go in blindly. Who's going to argue with the accountant?
You guys got some competition, though. It's nice, and I thought about this in all seriousness. It's nice to see a group of ladies coming together because I tell you, not to get mushy, but this gets lonely doing this reselling.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see a group of ladies that can get along and be on the same page and have a show and talk about this reselling.
I like it most that we can get along even when all of our viewpoints are different on certain things, because there's hardly an episode that we don't disagree about something, but it's not like an argument disagreeing. It's just that we come from different viewpoints. So I feel like we each represent our viewership in a different way, because one person might lean on like what I'm saying, and another person likes the way Angie's saying it. So it's interesting, and I think like as adults we need to see more of that, like disagreeing while still getting along, if that makes sense.
All right, yeah, because to be honest, and I just made a comment on on my Facebook about that exact subject, that I tell people now that want to follow me, especially through YouTube and social media, follow me on Instagram or the Traveling Picker Patdees, because honestly sometimes I just not a person that likes to debate stupid, and sometimes you just can't, like like the argument over some of the stuff is just so silly,
Yeah.
and it's a waste of time, and it's like um so what you've been doing the past year? It's been a year. I remember nothing from the show that you were on. I've watched. Have you? Be honest. Do you ever watch your show?
Yeah, I watch most live interviews back, not only to like thank the person that interviewed me. That's one extra view, but then I think, like what we were talking about earlier, you learn a lot more from listening than talking. And since I talk the whole time, sometimes it's nice to hear back either your delivery of things or, just I think it's really important to recognize how you make people feel, like how I would make you feel tonight and how I make people in the audience and in our chat feel. And sometimes the only way you can really figure that out is by watching something back. So yeah, when I watched it back, I thought it was great.
Yeah, and I remember to make like Drew came on later on.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was. And it's funny because when I found you probably about 4 or 5 months before that, and I immediately thought, what did I say? Do you remember what I basically, before I even know you were a beauty queen contestant, if I'm saying that right? What did you think I associated you with?
You said, were you the girl in the Oscar Mayer bologna commercial in 1983? And I was like, no, Pat, I was born in 85.
I did say that. No. It's funny because, hey, Phil, thanks for stopping the Texas Bandit. Yes, no, Mrs. Wonderful, and I'm the charming guest. Oh, wait, it's my channel. Never mind. No, and it's funny because I hear your Christian values goes along with this channel that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I said you guys reminded me of Duck Dynasty.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people have referenced Duck Dynasty in with Drew's magnificence that grows on his face. So yeah, I remember that.
And with the deep voice, and now that I've gotten to know you better over the last year, it's definitely. I think about, like I said, I don't remember from last year. Like I can't like what did you do? What did you do before you? Do you consider yourself a full-time reseller?
Oh yeah, that's all I do. I mean, I have this great YouTube channel where I tell people about it, and we have the podcast, but I'm definitely full-time reseller. I've got my son as a full-time reseller now too, and my husband even has his own eBay. He resells. So I mean, Israel needs to get on the ball. Like he's 6 years old. We can't pay his way forever. So I'm like, he needs to start reselling also.
Yeah, you guys are just being too easy on him, I think.
I know. It's because he's cute and he doesn't have any of his front teeth right now. And when he smiles, you just like pay his way and buy his groceries.
And I'm a little disappointed that he wasn't here tonight to read a book to us.
He'll probably pop in. Don't worry.
I remember the one night because I do catch you. Do I always watch the whole episode? Yeah. No, because you sometimes can. There's no like if you're going 2 hours or 3 hours or you're on a lot. Oh, that reminds me. I have something. I don't know if you sent it out yet, but I have something special coming from Rachel. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Was it the Jelly of the Month Club subscription that I sent you?
Oh, I was one of the winners of Christopher Chatworth's generous.
Yeah, I haven't sent it out. I haven't. I gotta send out all of the ones from last week. But you said go ahead and send it out and include some of them as a mystery. But you picked out some really good things.
Yeah, I didn't want to feel because when Christopher was generous and gave out, I thought, wow, and you were going on, which I'm gonna talk about next. You were going on vacation, and I saw like 4 or 5 things. And I'm like, yeah, she keeps adding more and more. But I was like, you know what? Let her kind of have fun with it, and just make up sort of a mystery box.
I will.
And and then also to cover your shipping. And boy, he's been very generous. He was over to Don and T's the other day too, and did something similar. So it's nice to see that support in the community, to be doing those, things like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was very nice. So that branches me off when we were talking about you. I don't know if you know where I live in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. I'm about an hour and a half west of New York City.
I didn't realize you were so close to New York.
Yeah.
I feel like you told me that maybe.
Yeah, I did. How why don't you tell the viewers basically, was it your first time? I mean, do you consider yourself a country girl?
I definitely am, but we travel a lot. Like, he's 6 and he's probably been to at least 26 states. Like, we travel as much as we can with the kids, their school schedules and everything. Definitely a country girl. And so the city is always different every time we go to a city. It's very nice, but it's always so relaxing to come back home to a town of like 3 signs or stoplights, I should say. And like our whole town is 7,000 people and everyone knows everyone. And that's really nice. I know a lot of people in small towns are like, everyone knows everyone and all your business. And that's okay. I don't have anything to hide. They'll make up what they need to. But it's so awesome because if you need help with something, there's usually someone that's a phone call away. Everyone knows you. Drew doesn't even pass out business cards, like he just has repeat business all the time. The perks of living in a small town.
Right. Reseller Madness. I don't recognize that name.
Will is great. He's he has a YouTube and an Instagram both. And man, the reel that he posted today over on Instagram is just one of the greatest reselling pieces of content I've seen in a very, very, very long time. You guys look up Reseller Madness on Instagram and watch it. It is impeccable.
I recognize his face, and it's funny because you said that because I saw something today that he posted. So
where he's in like a tux.
No, I don't know. Sometimes, because you know what it does. It's if you're in a similar, reseller or eBay or something like that. Hey, Harlan, thanks for stopping by. How are you doing, sir? Thank you. I appreciate stop. I'm getting some of the guys down from the south. So how was it your first time to New York City, Rachel?
Yeah, it wasn't my first time to the Northeast because I visited Boston and I've been to Pennsylvania a few times when I was a kid. But it was my first time in New York. My oldest son asked us every year for like 5 years if we could spend Christmas in New York. And it's always a no. And there's always something going on or it's too expensive. And this year it was October. And I looked at my husband. I was like, Della's going to ask this year if we can go to New York. Let's just plan it. And so we kept it secret from the kids for over a month. We told him like the day after Thanksgiving. And it was an absolute blast. One of the best vacations we've ever taken.
What did the kids think of it?
They thought it was great. Israel said, I heart NY. I love the city and all this. And it was, some parts of it were unique and you couldn't wait to get away from like the smell. But other things were just so cool. And Israel, bless his heart, he's 6, so he has short little legs. And it wasn't until the very last day we were there that he started asking for piggyback rides. And like one day we walked 15 miles. We walked. Yes, we walked everywhere. And we saw everything we wanted to there. Radio City Music Hall and the Rockettes and the Statue of Liberty. We went to Times Square. In all these places we would just walk to. And it was just so fun. We went to Macy's. Israel mailed his letter to Santa at Macy's, and Dello picked out his first like grown man watch at Macy's as a Christmas present. We just had such a good time.
Yeah, I love New York City. I've been there at least probably about 15 times.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's been a couple years. I mean, I even when I first started doing YouTube back in 2019, I actually went live from a bus on the top.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and
That would be cold in winter.
yeah, it wasn't a bad the time of year, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize the cell phones with driving around. The stream wasn't that great, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
kept breaking up and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think you kind of commented on the only thing I found is when you're trying to do entrepreneur or reselling, anytime you try to do something personal, it never seems to kind of actually hurts the channel. And
Yeah,
you know,
somewhat. That being said though, I feel like it's so important in our community to like let people in on your personal life too, and let people into your family life, because that's where people connect. Like if the only thing we ever had in common was that we resell, that's really not enough for a deep connection. But knowing, you know, oh, I have kids your kids age too, and my family lives over, and so that's how you really like develop
yeah,
connections with people.
that's what I thought and thought so too. Unfortunately, it's the new people that are trying to find you if they come across that video first.
Yes, you're
They're
right.
Yeah, and it's like, darn, it's like you can't sometimes be yourself because you want to share those. You know,
Yeah.
I wish there was a way to kind of maybe put those in a category where people,
Mhm.
but and maybe that'll be something down the road. Now, obviously, even bigger channels get away with, you know, no matter what they do, people are going to watch, but it's still not going to be the same percentage. And
Mhm.
what do you think
Yeah, you're
of
right.
you? What do you think of YouTube, Rachel?
I really enjoy it. It does give like that sense of camaraderie. YouTube and these live chats, this is like the water cooler for us. Everyone's self-employed. Like you say, it can be lonely. I work from my basement. The only coworkers I ever had were these girls, these dolls. I wouldn't have very rich conversation, but I have made so many friends. It kind of like it mimics the pageant world, because like at Mrs. America, I developed a friendship with 50 women, someone in every single state. And now I'm like, it's the same thing. I think there's hardly a state I could pick out that I don't know a reseller, and I wouldn't have a friend there.
Right. Now, I remember when I was when you were on last year, one of the things I do remember is showing a clip from a video that you tried YouTube like 5-6 years ago, and did you leave and you were doing something and then came back? Because
I feel like I didn't really try it. I got a YouTube account and I uploaded some stuff. Everything's still up. I haven't deleted anything. Like it's super cringy. But I just didn't do anything with it. It was one of those things like I would upload a video, and then 7 months later I might upload another video, and then I would upload one the next week. And it was just like a place where I would go upload for like no good reason. There wasn't any rhyme or reason to it. There was no direction to the channel, if that makes sense. And then I decided in 21, I guess it was, 2021, I thought, you know what, I should do something with my YouTube channel. And that's when I started doing reselling content.
Right. Hey T, thanks for stopping. As some new people come in, I'll highlight some of their comments. And so T, auctions for you stopped in. Let's do launch. You say now, and now we got us Rachel. Phil is talking about his alfalfa. Gotta get it
Makes me want some sprouts.
Yeah, you're. I didn't know this last time, but I from watching, you're a vegan, right?
Yeah.
So you eat no meat at all?
No meat, no animal products as far as dairy or eggs, or no cheese, nothing like that.
Yeah. Now, let me. I'm not trying to be goofy or nothing here. So what happens like if I go out, like we say, okay, let's meet up and have lunch, me, you, Drew, and I'm sitting at the same table and I order a cheeseburger. I mean,
That's all right.
Do you like pick up and smack me with a chair?
No. My kids, Dello just went vegetarian last year before last. I used to cook Drew meat before he went vegetarian. It's okay. To each their own.
Okay.
The only thing that would gross me out is like if we went to and you ate ribs or like crawdads or chicken wings. Those are like the three things that are kind of gross, but I could see past it. I'll just look at my napkin while you eat. I'll tell you what's in your teeth.
Rachel would turn into a crazy old lady talking to dolls in her basement.
Yeah, I would. Anthony's my guest this Thursday. If you never got to meet Anthony C in person, he's on live with me this Thursday night.
Oh, cool. I'll stop by and make sure I say hello and stuff. Yes, just walked into some. Yeah, she caught me eating chicken wings when we went out for lunch, and she wants to hit me with the chair. Mama with a camera. Is anyone else listening while listening? I'm finally getting around. I do that a lot, and honestly, that's one of the things I like to do, because with these conversations, a lot of times we can have a conversation. It's just background and while listening, but a lot of times I list a lot at night. Do you mostly list at night or during the day?
Gosh.
Uh-oh.
I have 2 jobs and raise 2 kids, and I make sure I get to the gym every day. I list whenever I can. Sometimes that's 10 a.m. and sometimes that's 2 a.m.
Uh-oh. The troublemaker. I love a good crawl bad.
Squirrels would.
I don't even know what that is.
Like a crayfish. They're like little lobster.
Oh yeah, I don't like those. There's too much work into those, and you don't get nothing out of it.
They're just gross to watch people tear into them.
Yeah, I don't like those. Hey, Boatman, thanks for coming by. Actually, Boatman, he about 2 years ago, because he knows I like New York City, he sent me a big wood thing that he had was for the Twin Towers.
Oh wow!
It was like a layout and stuff like that. And when it came in, I was like, "What is this big box?" And I looked; it was like $50 to send it, and it was somebody had made. Yeah, I thought hello, Coco. I like some of these names that are coming here. Coco and Chewy.
Yeah,
hello.
They're great.
Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting. Phil's talking about taking alfalfa and that he's getting heavier.
Listen, I'll eat the alfalfa. You guys eat the cows that eat the alfalfa.
Uh-oh. Leah's gagging on something. Oh, and T's lost a lot of weight. 50 pounds on keto and carnivore.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, that's sugar. Do you eat a lot of sugar?
No, we're sometimes the year we're entirely sugar free. Like if we're training for a race, because my husband and I are both ultra marathon runners. So if we're like training, then we're totally sugar free. But otherwise, we're really low sugar at my house.
Right. That's what I've. Only problem is now I'm drinking the zero products and that aspartame's in it, and then sometimes I think I got more anxiety, or sometimes I become restless, and I think that's one of the side effects. So
yeah, probably
now
some good old fashioned water.
And that's one thing I made on the thumbnail. You're very motivational. You're always putting out like positive messages, and I was a little intimidated by it. Now that I've gotten to know you over the last year, I'm not as intimidated. Because for me, to be honest, I was that nerdy in sixth grade. I was that nerdy kid, and you're like the homecoming queen. It's like
I was never on a homecoming court, but I was captain of our.
You were Miss Missouri.
Yeah, but I was never on any of the homecoming courts. I was in math club and captain of the quiz bowl team. So we probably had more in common than what you think.
Well, I never went to the prom. Never.
I did go to prom.
Yeah. So no.
I wasn't on the court, but I did go.
Yeah, the only thing that we have in common tonight is that we're on the same channel. I own one of those shirts that
our names are highlighted in pink.
Yeah. Wait a minute. We got a question here, and it's PG. So
that is Lily. Do you see her?
I was going to make a joke earlier with the boys playing ping pong. It would be funny if they trick shot it that the ping pong caught in her mouth.
She's fantastic. I would move her and bring her over, but you can see she has my sash on. So Christopher gifted her to me. I commented on how awesome she was. He had her in one of his eBay listings with a pair of headphones, and he got really good money out of those headphones. I was like, that's why I can't sell headphones as much, because I don't have that cool mannequin. And every time he would post her, I was like, I just think she's amazing. So he packed her up and mailed her to me. So she lives back there now, and she models vintage ball caps and stuff.
Do you take pictures? Do you use for your
Yes,
ebook?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I looked through your. I think I did put your link. Yeah, I did. Rachel, in case you guys, I mean, everybody knows Rachel, you know. But if you're new to the channel or you follow me and want to go check out Rachel later on, her link is below. And do you share your eBay store on your YouTube channel?
I do. I'm pretty much an open book. If I have a really crummy week, then you can go there and view it firsthand if you want. And if things are rocking, you can see that too.
Yeah. T went to 5 proms.
Wow.
I didn't know they had that many. I thought it was 11th and 12th grade.
I'm thinking she went to like other towns and then got invited as an underclassman. And like I went sophomore, junior, and senior year. But she probably went, like, maybe she went as a freshman too, and she probably went out of town to other boys, inviting her to come to their town. She's so pretty.
Even if I wanted to, and there was a couple girls. I mean, honestly, I've been with my wife since I'm 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
my parents have been together since they were 16. You don't see that a whole lot. That's awesome.
Yeah, so and I just turned 50, so I've been with her since I'm 16, and we got married when I was 20. But we met. She's 2.5 years older than me, but we met working at Burger King, actually. So
why did it take you 4 years to propose, Pat?
Well, I was saving up my money, and that was one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to go to the prom. I was like, people's like $100 for a dress. I'm like, that's crazy.
I wish you could get a dress for that now.
I mean, I was even kind of cheap when I got married. We went out and found the DJ and like, because you hear stories of like people spending like $25,000 on a wedding. I'm like, no, that'd be too much of a down payment on a house or something like that.
I don't want to be paying for the marriage. Like, I want to pay, like, while I'm in the marriage for things that we're doing in the marriage, not still paying for the wedding.
Right. Yeah. It's just crazy. And now I didn't have no parents, but I had friends that were close to me since I was 12. They stood in, and like they like my in-laws paid for the food side, and then
wow,
my friends paid for like our play. We actually went to Amish country, Lancaster, for our honeymoon.
Cool.
Wow. Yeah, back then. So I was only 20 when I got married, and actually, I wish I would have been a little older because I was intimidated. Like, you want to go out, you should have a good time at your wedding. You shouldn't worry about what everybody else thinks, and that was my problem. I still have that problem sometimes, but So how is I see you've been listing a lot more things. How is reselling treating you the last year? Did you see good growth, or is that something you don't want to talk about tonight?
No, I'm whatever you want to talk about. Reselling's been treating me better than I deserve. I mean, sometimes I look around and I'm like, I can't believe this is my job. I just scored all these vintage Barbies from that estate sale. And literally when I'm unpacking this stuff, I'm like, how do I get to look through the most beautiful 50s, 60s, 70s Barbies and find them new homes? And somehow like this pays my bills. And then I get to talk about it and tell people about it and make friends online, and they get free knowledge and information, and YouTube also helps to pay the bills. Like, it's just crazy. So I have, sometimes on YouTube, sometimes on eBay, I'm listing a ton. And then others times I feel like things are kind of dry. I have friends that hold me accountable and are like, what did you list today? And then I've gotten into Whatnot a lot lately. And so we're doing regular shows on Whatnot. My son does his own shows. He does them on my Whatnot. But
really?
Yes.
What's he selling?
He sells Lego minifigures, and he's always a buyer for them. If you need to sell them off in bulk, he's your buyer. But he is such a professional at it. The way that he describes them, the way he packages them and treats his customers. But I'm not kidding you. At 16 years old, he's making $100 an hour on Whatnot. Every time he's on there. He had one show, and this is just blew me away. For 3.5 hours, he sold minifigs and $503.
Wow.
And he was, had been working at Burger King, where I think the minimum wage is somewhere.
I remember him quitting.
It was like $12. Yeah, $12 an hour. So after take home, it's like $10 an hour. And they would let him work. One night they let him work for 45 minutes before they sent him home. I'm like, you made $8. You cleared out your whole Friday and you made $8. Well, the show that he did $503, that was also a Friday night. Like, the kid is not afraid of work. Anthony says, no cracks, because Yeah, he'll show the minifigs and I think I might have it. Yeah, like here's a minifig.
It's funny. I saw that comment. I'm like, what's this about? And I'm like,
so like underneath the arms, sometimes they'll have wear and they'll have a crack here, or they'll have cracks around the wrist. And this one is supposed to look like me. Isn't she cute?
Oh, Rachel, do you have the doll that really looks like you?
Which one? The one I posted, she's upstairs that you said that's me.
Yeah,
she looks like me.
I
actually needed help identifying her. Joey Bada said this one looked like me on his whatnot. And I think it was maybe Collins on the Move, Chrissy, that was like, Joey has a minifig that looks like you, Rachel, so come get her. And so I went to Joey Bada Bing's whatnot and bought her and gave her an accessory, and she sits on my desk now.
Yeah. Joey's actually he's not feeling good now. I saw his post.
I saw that. He said he'd be back next week, but
yeah,
bummer.
He's a nice kid.
Yeah, lots of energy.
Yeah, I interviewed him like a year and a half ago. And we did like a 2-part thing, and just I haven't talked to him in a while since then, but I remember when he first came in early, like he didn't even have 1,000 subscribers yet.
Wow.
And, yeah, I just loved his energy and just nice young man, and
are you gonna get on Whatnot?
I'm on there.
Are you selling on there?
Yeah.
What's your username?
Well, what would it be?
Is it the Traveling Picker? Is it Patdees Traveling Picker? Is it the
well, it's either the Traveling Picker Patdees or Patdees the Traveling Picker. Now I gotta check myself.
See, how would I know?
Well, because on Instagram I go by Patdees and then on YouTube the travel, and I used to just be Patdees, and then behind the scenes it would say the travel. But then sometimes I didn't know, like people were like, well, what's a Patdees? Sometimes people thought like my name was a joke, because they would, and I'm like, no.
Are you selling on there, or have you sold yet?
I did 6, and 2 were a flop, and 4 were okay. It's very hard for me to sit still for 2 hours. I have very little. Yeah, I'm just Patdees on there.
Okay, I'm looking you up now because I'm gonna find you and follow you.
Oh, thank you. But I do.
There you are. I see your logo and everything. Following.
Yeah. And I just
got. Oh, you have one coming up.
Yeah, I in February. But I'll be honest, that was supposed to be done in November, and unfortunately, Pat, what are you up to? What do you mean by that? I'm hanging out with Miss January tonight. But no, honestly, I disappoint myself. Like it's hard to sit 2 hours, and I feel like there was like 2 times I had like pallet stuff, and it was like $5 for a $30 bed sheets, and I just felt like I would be begging, and I'm like, that's not me. There he is. Hey, Christopher.
Hey, Christopher. We were talking about you a couple different times tonight.
Yeah, and that I was one of the winners of the giveaway, and
we talked about dear old Lily back here.
Yes, and how generous Chris is and supporting the ladies and stuff. So, thank you. Yeah, I honestly, I think what I'm gonna do for me, I love baseball cards. I love Disney pins. Oh, wow. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, buddy, 1999 super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. Show Chris your shirt.
Oh, yeah. I've got my Patdees shirt on here with the Christmas tree. 2021. I'm just waiting a few more years for it to be vintage. That's all.
Yeah, I gave a bunch of those. Actually, a lot of people that came on the show, I gave a bunch of those out.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, it was in, I've always been a businessman for 20 years. I mean, I employed over 800 people when I was in the restaurant business, but it was weird actually doing a shirt with now I did shirts at the restaurant. I would sell probably 100 a year that would say the restaurant, the picture of the restaurant. And, like we live in the mountains. So that was, something I've done before, but then all of a sudden have your shirt with, put your name on it. It was like, I don't know. I just feel kind of, but I was like, hey, but I did. I'm honest. I used the money to, we always do something at Christmas time with the kids. So, we did something big locally this year, and the viewers participated. We did a raffle 2 nights, and even Susan Stricker,
Mhm.
I would say Strickler, and they say there's no L into it, and she donated the prize back, and then we actually sold that and took that money and then gave out. So,
Wow.
yeah, I always wanted to do YouTube. I stumbled upon YouTube by accident.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, I had closed my restaurant, and because I had cancer,
Mhm.
and I had breast cancer, which is rare, and I had stumbled and I found, and then I was doing eBay, and I always thought like one day, because when I had the restaurant, I used to be in that position to be able to do nice things publicly and support many, and I always thought with doing YouTube, I've always wanted to do, you know, that there was a purpose of me just doing this, not just to, be a clown or talk to people,
Yeah.
you know. Um,
That's the thing. I think there has to be like some different reason, like a deeper motivation for YouTube, and then it'll last. Because if you're only in it, like, don't get me wrong, everyone on YouTube probably wants to get to the point where they're like monetized and making money. But if that's the only motivation, you'll never get to that point because it's a lot of free work, like a lot.
Yeah, a lot, exactly. And my problem, well, and that's the thing too, is when I had the restaurant, I was in control of a lot of things. I could turn the switch up or down. In other words, if I was Sunday, like I remember a couple times I pissed a couple customers off because it was on a Saturday. Once a year, we would close in October at 3 o'clock, and people would come up to the door and said, "Oh," and I would put on the door, "Sorry, we closed early today. It's a family fun night," and we would go to an amusement park.
Mhm.
And it was the only way we could, because we could never get a day off. And,
Yeah.
and we did that once or twice a year. And sometimes people would like criticize and
You'll never please everybody. That's the
no,
thing. You can't, like, you gotta look for like approval from God, and that's it. And then as long as like you're looking for approval from God, you'll probably find approval within yourself. And that's like the two most important, because everyone else, you could save a burning orphanage and someone on YouTube's gonna tell you how you did it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, so if you seek any approval outside of him alone, I think you'll always come up wanting. And that's my deeper meaning in the channel. And like, for you to say that I'm motivating anyone, I just need people to like open their eyes, like remove these scales, right? Open your eyes and see who God says you are. Because if you watched yourself the way he watches you, you would know how fearfully and wonderfully made you are. You would know that nothing is impossible, that you can accomplish great things. And I know a lot of people are defeated by life circumstances. So even if we never meet in person, if I can be that person to come to you online and like breathe that into you, that you can do it, that's what makes me so excited to make a video. Even if I'm just sneaking in little bits and pieces of like, you can conquer this, you didn't come this far to only come this far, and I don't know, that makes it worthwhile to me, I guess.
no, I agree. I think, and that's one of the reasons why I like you. Um, that positive message. Mr. Strickland is here, about to lay Israel down, jump in to say, "What's up, party people?" Yeah, we were a little disappointed. She had maybe said that you or Israel was going to come by and read a book.
Joy in the waiting or something like that.
Yeah. Gil P says, "Pat, I noticed you're doing a lot of big buys. Any plans to travel?" And so I still do travel and source, but I honestly, because of the price of gas, and we changed vehicles, it has to be, COVID. I don't know if were you busy when COVID was going, Rachel?
I mean, I found weights. I started selling a lot of weights whenever the world shut down. I was still selling real estate at the time, and suddenly no one wanted you in their house. And since my husband also works in people's homes, we found ways to make money. And one of that was like finding new ways to source. That's probably when I delved even deeper into reselling.
Yeah, we were busy, but yeah, I still do travel. But hey, Betty Webb, thanks for coming by. Um, Drew, maybe read it.
Yeah,
Oh,
he reads
uh,
Israel his story Bible every night. And if you can imagine that deep ASMR voice reading the word of
oh
God,
yeah,
Israel falls right to sleep.
yeah. Good evening, Pat and Rachel. Ping, thanks for stopping. Here's a question. Um, Sue says, question, Pat, how do you feel about Disney cracking down on resellers selling Disney things that specifically buy from the park? I saw something on Kevin's channel. Yeah, I saw that too. I actually heard that before in the past. Now, I've been to Disney 10 times in the last 20 years, that there are a lot of rules, and that's why they put restriction on really how many items you can buy. A lot of times you can only buy 2 of something anyways. So nobody's travel. Uh-oh. I hear something. The table tennis is done.
Yeah, you have a visitor that wanted us to come say hi to you.
Yeah, come and say hello.
You want to say hi to Pat?
Hi.
Say hi, Pat.
How are you doing?
Good.
I hear that you're good at reading. Did you ever read the book, The Boxcar Children?
Have you ever read that yet?
No.
That's a good. You should look into that book. When I was in the 3rd grade, I used to enjoy, and that was the book that stood out for me, was The Boxcar Children.
I remember those books.
Yeah. So how we doing? You got to go to bed early over there in Missouri?
Yeah, it's actually past his bedtime. Did you come just to tell me good night?
Yeah.
Good night. I love you.
Good night, buddy.
You snuggle up and listen to Daddy read, okay?
Okay.
Watch the cord there. Don't trip and fall.
Thanks for having him come by and say hello. Rachel, back from Burnout. Welcome. Friend of mine from she has a channel from Australia. She sells a lot of books.
She's got that beautiful accent too.
Australia, yeah. She's been on my. Me, the goof. I started the show with her. Do you remember the scene from Crocodile Dundee when he's calling on the mountain and he's spinning the?
Oh God.
Yeah. So I did something like that I called her out like that. Yeah. So she sometimes, because some of the humor is lost in translation from the United States to Australia, but
that's true.
She puts up with me. Hey, Denise, thanks for coming by. I actually enjoy. Are you a reader?
No, I don't read anything nonfiction. I read the Word of God, and on occasion I'll pull out like a motivational book of some type.
Yeah, that's what business books, once in a while.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I'm reading a book right now by Daryl Eves, a YouTube strategies book. And outside of that, just the Word of God. I just never have been into fiction. But I don't really watch a whole lot of like TV or movies either, unless it's comedy.
I don't read fiction books either. It's more, it has to be. Now I do like biographies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something that I'm going to learn something.
Yeah, and I do like, or you want to know the stories of how this came to that. I mean, I am guilty of a lot of times buying books, and when I do like one, I sometimes want to read the whole damn thing within a day or two.
Yeah, there was a good one called Not a Fan. Crazy Love. That's what it was. I remember reading that in a day, and that was like a Christian book about like an audacious faith and audacious love for others. I liked that one. Yeah, when you can't set the book down, that's good.
Right. Yeah. I'm hoping that as I get older, actually, I think mentally sometimes I'd like to give myself some time to read books a little bit more, especially ones that are motivated and kind of get you. And I'm glad actually Mel's here right now. We were talking a little bit about listing. Are you a person that lists every day?
Yeah, I try to. Christopher messages me and is like, "Did you get your listings done today?" Because he'll check out my store, and as long as I don't fall asleep with Israel, I try to get a few things up every day. I just have those days, or sometimes it seems like a week-long stretch, and you're thinking, "Oh no, like one thing I really excelled in this one area of my life, and then did I list anything?" And it's a juggling act, but I aim at listing every day. Yes.
Oh, real quick, Clay's Closet. Thanks for, actually, there's a lot of people lurking, and I'm glad they're saying hello. I miss going live, but I don't like going live as much as I used to because I just feel like I want this to always be a positive thing.
Yeah.
And I'm very conscientious of I wanted when the show's over, I wanted like, oh, that went good. That was a good, it was nice talk. And really, so I'm just very conscientious of that. So, hey, Land Shark Picker, but real quick, I want to say too, I get sidetracked a little bit. I list every day since July 4th.
Wow, that's awesome.
I have Mel back from Burnout, the thank. She did a podcast with Tech and Sports.
Mm-hmm.
And Tech and Sports is basically in my opinion, I don't know what the guy looks like. I don't know his real name. Mm-hmm. He is a no nonsense.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, honestly, and this happens a lot on YouTube. People will be like, "Oh, you're not even like I got that sometimes. Oh, you're not even a reseller. You're not like everybody wants to like not instead of inspiring you to do better and people want to not knock you down. Well, you could check out his store, but no law. I listened to him and in my head I was like, man, why wasn't I? Because I used to have that attitude when I was in the restaurant business. Why didn't I incorporate that into the eBay business?
Yeah, treat your business like your business, right?
But I didn't. For me, I was more of a hobbyist seller, so I was still learning and sourcing and what was good and really what was important. And sometimes when it was slow, I actually felt defeated and wouldn't list. And now there's just
that's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and a lot of people go through that, and that's why they have those death piles. Craig, thanks for the $15 super chat, buddy. I do appreciate it. Now, you'll get some people in the chat that are my friends or they're listening in the background. They'll be like, Pat, we told you to list every day too. What they said was, Pat, you need to list. You need to list. But they didn't really break it down the technical way that Tech and Sports did, and really like the way he talks and makes that. And I had my busiest year on eBay last year.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I bet you'll have an even busier and even better year this year because now you have all that knowledge, all that momentum. It's like, stopping a train at this point. Keep going.
I feel like I can't, if I go 3 weeks and wouldn't list, I feel like I can't complain then. And I felt like I feel like he's laid it all out there. And why am I? And it was funny because I listened to a show yesterday, Chris Daily Refinement, and Chris admitted that they had a problem in Tech and Sports years ago, and they didn't talk for 3 years. And Chris couldn't there was the mind. He goes, if I would have listened to Tech and Sports, he goes, I would be. Chris already does $1 million and is successful, but imagine if he would have been a little bit more open-minded and took that advice and that positive. But it was amazing. Amy, good evening, Pat and Rachel. Yes, I agree. Work-life balance. That's why I try to keep Sundays more for family. But I do. I mean, when it's snowy here in Pennsylvania, I mean, I'm doing stuff that's related to work. I'm not afraid to do that, but Craig is a friend of mine, Land Shark Picker, and me, him, and Mel and other people have hung out privately. So it's funny to see them. They're all bantering in the chat, and sometimes people are saying Craig and Mel know one another. Craig just likes to. Craig will give me $15, and then he'll bust my chops for the next 15 days. That's the admission cost.
I saw not to like step on your toes of what you're pulling up, and you were probably getting there, but I just saw a question that Ryan had a question.
Oh, where was it?
Like 854 up above Clay.
Oh, okay, yeah. Ryan Davidson. I'm sorry. What happens is, you know how it is.
I know how it is. That's why I was like, I know you would hate it if you missed a question.
No. And I just got sidetracked a little bit and blabbering too much, and you're the.
Isn't it easy to stay behind in the chat when you're
and I know you're not coming back to next January, so I didn't want to be you are Miss January. So Rachel, what's your goals for 2023? Life, sales, and YouTube?
I am such a goal-oriented person. I've given speeches to kids about goals. The difference in a dream and a goal is a plan. And so I do have goals. I'm glad he didn't say, what's the hope or the mission. They're goals. Life, I have one goal I'm working towards right now is to run my fastest mile ever, what's the word I'm looking for? Ever recorded in a race, my fastest ever, next month. And so look for that over on my Instagram. And I've been a lot more consistent with my YouTube lately, which YouTube analytics is telling me that that's helping. I have some big things in the works for YouTube this year, and my success is inevitable with those things. And you'll just be along for the ride if you're subscribed to the channel. And I just opened up memberships over there too. So YouTube, everything is growing over there the rate that it should this year. It hopefully will surpass even my own goals. And then for sales, I definitely want to grow my Whatnot more and more. I think I'm getting better at sourcing for Whatnot because you have to buy low, but you also have to buy things that people want to pay shipping on. And you have to buy things that people either have to have because there's like an intrinsic value and it's gold, it's Louis Vuitton, it's something that just is valuable, or something that they collect and therefore have to have. Like, oh, that's the one I'm going to see. Those are the two things that sell best, I feel like, on Whatnot. So I'm becoming a better Whatnot sourcer. And then to hand Whatnot and YouTube together, I'm putting out like a free Whatnot course over on my YouTube, and I think that that's going to help grow the channel as well, just for people to come for free and learn in a way that Whatnot themselves is not showing them.
You did very well. You reminded me because you did very well on a Whatnot video.
Thank you. I put out my Whatnot videos and they kind of fall flat at first because it's not necessarily what the audience wants to see, but they are so immensely beneficial to people who are stumbling their way through their first Whatnot. I will never stop putting them out. And then they end up surpassing the other videos because it is that evergreen content that people are just going to keep coming back to. So I thought what I'm going to do is put out an entire course, and it's going to walk you through step by step all of Whatnot.
Clay's Closet says, Rachel, what distance is the race did you used to run? Is the fastest mile part of a bigger goal like the fastest 10K or marathon?
So the race, interestingly enough, because I'd say like my husband and I are ultra marathoners. We've done 24-hour runs where we run, which one of those is coming up in March. I think I'm going to sign up for it. So I'll run for 24 hours straight around this track and as many miles as I can. But the race in February, interestingly enough, is a 1 mile race. That's it. And you're really racing the clock because United States Track and Field and Missouri State Track and Field have official state records for every age at every gender. So like a 35, 36, 37-year-old female, there's a state record for each of them. And like I hold the 35-year-old female state record, but it was 40 seconds off from where I wanted to be. I started out sprinting. I was so disappointed. I wanted to beat my high school mile time. And so I'm coming back 2 years later and I'm like, I am going to do this. And I haven't really been running except for the past like 30 days. I have to shave another minute and like 20 seconds. No,
do you walk or run? I saw something like you do a mile every day for 30 days.
Yeah, I'm running. I'm in a 31-day run streak right now, so I'll run at least 1 mile.
If someone does that if they walk, is that no good or?
No, however you want to move your body. I just love that people.
Well, I'm gonna take you up on it one day, but it's too cold right now. It's only like 26 up there. But
I own a really nice treadmill.
I used to honestly, before I got to be built like a bear here, I used to walk and ride bike a lot. And a mile's nothing. I can do that easily.
You can. Who knows? You might be a Pennsylvania state record holder. You should look up what your state record.
Well, let me tell you, when we go to Disney, my wife and kids get mad at me because even at my height and weight at 280, 5'9", I outwalk. They call me a speed walker. And I can't slow it down. I do walk fast. Do you know? And this is going to be my last question for the night because we're a little bit past that hour and Rachel's got to get to bed or get listings done. Do you know Trista and Chaz?
I don't think so.
They do the marathons and they're I forget what their channel is. I should know this.
It sounds like some people I need to connect with.
Oh no, they're really, and they've been on the show, and I just can't think of it right now. He was the first person I met when I started doing YouTube in person. They came for a Craig, do you know the name? Chaz and Trista in Side Hustle Network. Side Hustle Network.
Oh, gotcha. Is
Yes.
that's what their name is?
Yeah.
Oh,
But their real name is Chaz and Trista. But
mhm.
they were Chaz was the first person I met, and they sell on eBay, but they run a warehouse where they do a lot of prep for other people. But they used to live like in Oregon or Washington, and then they moved to Texas to his family or something's down there, and they have a couple little kids and stuff like that. But he's really into that, so you might, since you're into that stuff, you might want to follow him. He does a lot of those like Spartan races and stuff like
I
that.
just love it. Like, I've never done a ruck pack. I think that would be fun one day, or even like a Tough Mudder or something like that. And the reason why we ultra marathon, because we'll do like a 24-hour race. My husband had 200-mile attempts. He's done a 50-mile, 50K. I did a 60K. The reason why though is because like I feel like you always need to be improving. That's a daily refinement thing, right? But I know how far I can run, but I don't know how far I can't run. Like I've never had to drop out of a race. And so don't you wonder how far you can't run? Like, don't you want to know what your limit is? I don't know what my limit is yet. And so even with trying to beat my high school mile, like I know how fast I can run, but how fast is really too fast? How fast can I really go, and can I push my body to be conditioned by February 25th to beat my 16-year-old time? You know what I mean? Like, that's interesting to always be trying to improve yourself and not accept the fact that as we age, we're getting worse. I want to be getting better all the time.
Right. Yeah. So, well, Rachel, I'm gonna, like I said, I want to hold to the time. I do appreciate you, everyone that's come by. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks for the people that I didn't recognize their names that came by to see Rachel. I do appreciate it. Rachel, why don't you tell everyone real quick when you're live and anything that's going on coming up?
I'll probably stay up editing tonight. Look for a new video on my channel tomorrow. It's a series that I've been doing called First in Line Fridays. On Fridays, I deliver Meals on Wheels. So before that, I go and I'm first in line at the thrift store. So I get the good stuff. And that's a new series over on my YouTube channel. My YouTube is Rachel Strickland. You can find me there. And
I have a link in the description for that too.
I'm live every Thursday night, you guys. More often than not, the chat is my guest, and I just hang out and try to breathe some motivation into the community and just be joyful, I guess.
Right. I do appreciate everyone. Denise, I saw that what happens is if you don't have a wrench, and I don't have many, if you notice, Rachel, I don't have many mods.
Me neither. I really don't.
I have filters in place.
Yeah.
I mean, I did block someone tonight, because they want to be clowns.
Oh.
Patdees just doesn't, put up with some of that. So, but I do appreciate everyone that stopped by, and thank you guys again. And Rachel, I'll talk to you before next January, but she will be back next January. We signed a 2-year contract, so we'll see where we're at next January. So thanks guys for coming by. I do appreciate it.
Good night, guys.